The United States has issued a strong advisory, urging all its citizens currently in Iran to leave the country without delay, emphasizing that the situation on the ground may become increasingly volatile. The advisory further cautions Americans to make all necessary preparations to leave immediately, noting that the U.S. government may not be able to provide direct assistance or arrange evacuation support in case of an emergency. This latest announcement from the virtual embassy of the United States in Iran comes at a time of heightened tension and growing uncertainty in relations between Washington and Tehran. The advisory issued by the virtual embassy in Iran said, and I quote, "Protests across Iran continue to escalate and may turn violent, resulting in arrests and injuries. Increased security measures, road closures, public transportation disruptions, and internet blockages are ongoing. The government of Iran has restricted access to mobile, landline, and national internet networks. Airlines continue to limit or cancel flights to and from Iran, with several suspending service. U.S. citizens should leave Iran now. Consider departing Iran by land to Turkey or Armenia, if safe to do so. Have a plan for departing Iran that does not rely on U.S. government help. If you cannot leave, find a secure location within your residence or another safe building. Have a supply of food, water, medications, and other essential items. Avoid demonstrations, keep a low profile, and stay aware of your surroundings. Monitor local media for breaking news. U.S.-Iranian dual nationals must exit Iran on Iranian passports. The Iranian government does not recognize dual nationality and will treat U.S.-Iranian dual nationals solely as Iranian citizens. U.S. nationals are at significant risk of questioning, arrest, and detention in Iran. Showing a U.S. passport or demonstrating connections to the United States can be reason enough for Iranian authorities to detain someone." Unquote. The latest U.S. advisory comes before high-stakes talks between Washington and Tehran in Oman, with discussions expected to center on Iran's controversial nuclear program and regional security concerns. However, reports suggest that both sides have so far struggled to establish a shared agenda for the meeting, as deep divisions persist over nuclear restrictions and sanctions relief. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, along with Jared Kushner, are expected to represent Washington at the talks. On the Iranian side, officials have confirmed that Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi will head their delegation. This meeting would mark the first formal diplomatic engagement between the United States and Iran since the conflict that erupted in June 2025, a war that severely strained ties between the two nations. It's important to recall that during that conflict, the United States joined forces with its key ally Israel in launching coordinated strikes against 3 of Iran's primary nuclear facilities. U.S. President Donald Trump has since issued a stern warning, threatening military action if Tehran refuses to reach a deal that limits its nuclear ambitions and ensures full international compliance. On Thursday, President Trump reiterated his position, announcing that a major U.S. naval fleet is already en route toward Iranian waters.
I went there to find out why the hell we couldn't win the war. Why aren't we winning the war against ISIS? They've been, playing games with us. So I wanted to see, and that's where I met Raisin Kane. I said, "What's your first name?" "Raisin, sir." They call me Raisin. I said, "What the hell kind of a name is that?" Right? We've learned a lot about him. Now we get it. In this very quiet manner, he's brutal. Just ask Venezuela. Ask Iran. They're negotiating now. They don't want us to hit them. We have a big fleet going over to Iran. But so Raisin was there at the bottom of the plane. "What's your name?" "Raisin." "What's your last name?" "Kane." I said, "So your name is, let's get this straight. Your name is Raisin Kane, right?" "Yes, sir, that's what they call me." "You're the guy I'm looking for." And then he said, "Sir, if you'd like, you can go and sleep. It's a 20-hour trip. If you'd like, you can go and sleep. We have quarters prepared for you." I said, No, I don't have to sleep. I've been on a plane sleeping for I'm sleeping the plane. I don't sleep on planes. I don't like sleeping on planes, I like looking out the window watching for missiles and enemies, actually. But he said, "Sir, we have a place prepared for you, and we can meet after you've rested." I said, No. Let's go right now. So we did that. And I said to him, "They tell me it's going to take 5 years to defeat ISIS." "No, sir." I said, "Well, how long would it be, General Kane?" "Sir, we can do it in 4 weeks." So what? Well, sir, we use this one base here, and we're hundreds of miles away, and by the time the planes get to the target, they have to come back and refuel, and we're too far. I said, why do we do that? Because we don't want to offend any of the other countries. I said, we have a lot of portable airports, right, Pete? We have portable airports all over the Middle East, runways that are portable. You put them down, you take them up. We have equipment. Nobody has the stuff we have. We have airports that look better than Kennedy Airport. And they're built in sand. And it took us about 2 minutes to build them. No, the equipment is incredible. You can land any plane on them, right? Portable. And we've got many of them, sir. We have to use them. I said, why don't we? Because we didn't want to defend, offend another country. I said, let me ask you a question. You're in the middle of the desert. Would another country know if we're taking off from some strip in the desert? They would have no idea, sir. They don't have radar. They don't have anything. So he explained it. So we want to hit them, sir, from 17 different locations. And we want to hit them left. And we hit them, here we go. And we want to hit them right. Sure, and we want to hit them from the top, and we want to hit them from the bottom. East, west, north, south. Sir, they won't know what the hell hit, and we'll knock them out. We did it politically correct. 5 years, we'd call up the country head, and we'd tell them, we'd like to attack ISIS today. As soon as the call was made, they'd call ISIS and tell them, you're going to be attacked, get the hell out of it. This is what we were doing for years, but not with Raising Cane and not with Pete Hegseth, right, Pete? We don't do that. And we have a little different method. So I went back to Washington and I said, this guy, he said, and then I checked up on him, and he was so respected. I said, he's really, respected. And I called him back. I said, General, go at it. Do good luck. God bless you. And he said, I say that to the people going out every time, and they say it when we give the okay for the attack on Venezuela or the attack on Iran. He says, I say, we all say, we're all in a room together watching. We watch it. We watch these attacks. We always say, God bless you. Have a safe journey. It's a dangerous journey. These are dangerous journeys. Flying through the middle of Iran, they know you're coming, and you're in a B-2 bomber, the most incredible thing, and they weren't able to see it because it's stealth. So good, we ordered 20 more of them, brand new, updated version. I actually said, don't get the updated, just take the one you have. They said, no, sir, the new one's even better. We have a military. Nobody has a military like we do. I rebuilt it, by the way, during my first term. I think it's one of the best things I did. I rebuilt the military during the first term, and now we're really rebuilding the military, right? Everybody wants to be in the military. We're hot as a pistol. We couldn't get anybody to go into not me, the last administration. Nobody wanted to be in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, the Coast Guard, Space Force, which is turning out to be good. I'm so proud of it because I'm the father of Space Force. I'm the one that wanted it. So, but we couldn't get people. We couldn't get people. They couldn't get people to go into any of them, including our police departments and our fire departments. They weren't proud of our nation. They had no spirit. And now we have had the single greatest recruitment in the history of our country. There's never been anything like it. We have waiting lists of people wanting to get in. In fact, if we want to expand the military, Mr. Speaker, this would be a very good time to do it. We have so many people want to get into the military that, we also won in the Supreme Court, as you know, based on merit. It was a merit, and we take people based on merit. We prefer a strong person in the military as opposed to a weak person. We prefer somebody that's a strong, powerful person with extremely good vision that can shoot a rifle very well to a person that's extremely weak, non-muscular, can't shoot a rifle, has no idea where the hell he is. We have a military where they all look like Tom Cruise, only bigger. Now we hire on merit now. And that goes for colleges. People get into colleges now. If you have great boards and great marks and you work, and then somebody else gets in that's not nearly as qualified. Now it's a merit system. It's tough in one way, but it's, you know, our country was built on a system of merit, and then we went away from it a number of years ago. We got it back. That was a brave decision by the Supreme Court, I'll say. And it's tough on some people. Actually, it makes people work harder, I think. But we have to base our country on merit, or we won't have a country. We were going in such a bad direction. It's incredible.